Ed Burkhardt addressed the media. He says he hopes to meet with the town's mayor to discuss what he can do to help. But the people are furious with Burkhardt and his company. They say Burkhardt should have come to Lac-Mégantic much sooner. Kevin, why did he wait 5 days?
Well, Mitsumi, Ed Burkhardt said that he felt he was better equipped to deal with things like phoning insurance companies, contractors, even dealing with media requests from his office in Chicago, rather than, as he put it, a cell phone in Lac-Mégantic. Now, he did add that MMA inspectors have been in town since Saturday. However, none of them have talked to the media. A media circus descended upon Lac-Mégantic as the chairman of Montreal, Maine and Atlantic, Ed Burkhardt, came to see the devastation caused by his company's train.
Ton nom, c'est Burkhardt.
But the reception from the usually friendly small town was anything but welcoming.
Put a rope around his neck and hang himself.
This man just cares about his money.
Burkhardt says he feels terrible for the community of Lac-Mégantic.
If I was in this community, I'd have the same level of anger.
The railway executive has suggested when the Nantes Fire Department killed the engine of the MMA locomotive Friday night, a series of tragic events were set in motion. He doesn't blame the volunteer fire department, but wants MMA inspectors to have more time with the locomotive.
I don't know, for example, about whether there really was a fire or what the extent of the fire was on this locomotive, because we have not had an opportunity to inspect it.
But the Transportation Safety Board already confirmed there was a fire in the locomotive, and an SQ criminal investigation is underway.
And if there is sufficient evidence to charge people criminally, they should be charged.
The MMA has come under criticism for leaving an unmanned idling locomotive on the main tracks. Burkhardt says that this is standard operating procedure in the rail industry, but it may be time for those standards to change.
This has been a norm of the rail industry in both the U.S. and Canada, everywhere, is that they leave parked trains unattended. You could make the point, especially in the aftermath of this, that that was wrong.
Burkhardt says the train engineer has been suspended. Shortly after answering questions, he left with police for questioning. Kevin Gallagher, CTV News, Lac-Mégantic. 65-year-old William Kokesh is known affectionately by parishioners at St. Edmund's Church in the West Island of Montreal as Deacon Bill. Many shocked to hear that such a prominent figure is facing charges of distribution and production of child pornography.
That's very disturbing. Very disturbing, but what do we do?
Having someone who's arrested for child pornography in the neighborhood is stressful and upsetting.
After receiving a citizen tip, police searched Kokesh's home, allegedly discovering a large quantity of child pornography on his computer hard drive.
They have seized informatic stuff and also more than 2,000 pictures of kids.
A deacon is a church assistant, but Kokesh is also the communications director for the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops. He has met Pope Benedict and helped organize several Catholic World Youth Day events, including one held in Toronto in 2002. Kokesh has often acted on behalf of the Catholic Church, speaking to CTV News in 2007, after the Church apologized for past sins, including the sexual abuse of children.
Reconciliation is not something that happens overnight. Healing takes time.
Kokesh is married with adult children, and his reputation in the community as some of the faithful reserving judgment.
A lot of false allegations, and it's only once they've had their day in court that we know whether or not it's true, and there's enough evidence to support the allegation.
Kokesh appeared before a judge through video conference today, but did not enter a plea. The Archdiocese of Montreal issued a statement this evening saying that Kokesh has been removed from all pastoral activity. Sandy.
Thank you, Kevin. CTV's Kevin Gallagher.
A painful place to visit for the family of Javier Alexis Urquiaga. His aunt, uncle, and other family members make each painful step towards the local rink, where their 9-year-old Javier was found dead, crushed by a hockey net. Javier's aunt, Cathy Chasson. He was a ray of sunshine for everyone, she says. Javier's step-grandmother, Rachel Guimette. I would watch him every day, she says. He was so young, we will miss him. Javier loved hockey. He was always at the local rink in Saint-Séverin-de-Pruville. He came here every day, she says, before and after school. Saturday morning, he came by himself. He wanted to get in some extra practice time before a game later that day. Construction workers working on a building near the rink saw him about 8 o'clock Saturday morning. About an hour later, when one of the workers looked out again, he spotted Javier lying on the ice under the heavy net. Javier was taken to hospital, but it was too late. Saint-Séverin-de-Prouville is a small town, and many here knew young Javier. The news of his death has traveled fast, and for many, it's hard to take. For sure, it's difficult, he says. We lost a young child. It's an accident that touches the whole community, she says. The accident is under investigation by the coroner's office, hoping to find answers for this grieving community. Kevin Gallagher, CTV News, Saint-Séverin.
And what was once just a show between hockey periods is now a very competitive sport. 2 local synchro skating teams are packing their bags for the World Championships. Kevin Gallagher has more.
The girls on Les Supremes synchronized skating team are ahead of the curve. They have speed, grace, and elegance like other figure skaters, but it's a team sport these girls take seriously.
Devotion, the heart, everything you have.
It's impressive when you get 16 girls doing the exact same thing.
Their results from the national championships are also impressive. The junior team took home the gold medal, and the senior team brought home silver. Those results qualified both teams for the upcoming World Championships in Göteborg, Sweden. The girls are staying humble and not letting their recent success go to their heads.
Throughout the year, we really focus on our performance and our skating and not on the medals.
We just want to have 2 amazing performances that we'll remember forever.
Both teams train in Saint Leonard under head coach Marilyn Langlois. With 2 teams at a world level, you've got to ask, what's she putting in their water?
I think it's not a question of water. I think it's a question of really hard work.
You think I can have a try on the team? I've always wanted to go to Sweden.
I'm not so sure. You can have a try in the warm-up block, but you know, we want to skate good at Worlds.
Well, all right. As long as I get a chance.
Let's get that chance.
All right, good. Nobody told me about the spin at the end. They told me I wasn't bad for my first try, but I'm not ready for Worlds yet. These girls are at the rink at least 4 days a week, making sure they're ready. A close-knit group, they say their team's spirit is their secret weapon.
It just keeps the motivation up all the time and the energy levels too, and we inspire each other.
Kevin Gallagher, CTV Sports.
I'm here with Kevin Gallagher now. And, you know, Kevin, this town was built around railroad tracks. So you can imagine how important that question is to why this happened, why those trains came loose. You're looking at that today. What more do we know today?
Well, I mean, there have been concerns in this area for quite some time about the trains. Today I was in Nantes, Quebec, and there were reports from Friday night when this train was put to bed by the conductor. Afterwards, there was a call to the Nantes Fire Department for a fire in one of the locomotive engines. Now, the fire department came, put out that fire, and called representatives from the railway company, Montreal, Maine, and Atlantic Railway. Representatives did come after the fire was put out. During this time, the engine was shut off. And now, yesterday, the company released a statement saying that because that engine was shut off, this then led to a malfunction in the air brake system, which could have led to these trains and cars running away into the town. And now the Nantes Fire Department says that this isn't the first time they've had a locomotive fire. This is the 4th time in the past 9 years for this company at that station. They've had a fire, and they've put it out the exact same way. Here's the Nantes Fire Chief.
I checked everything what the officers did and what the firefighters did. And I can say that the firefighters followed protocol from one end to the other. And those are, like I say, MMA protocols.
I also had a chance to go to where one of the locomotives is still sitting on the tracks. It's been there for about 3 days. There are concerns, like I mentioned, from the community about the safety there. And I just wanted to show our viewers at home how easy it is to just access the site. anybody, hypothetically, could have access to the main control panel where there's brakes, acceleration. Over here is the emergency braking system. And so there's even a half-drunk bottle of water, uncapped, sitting inside the area where the control panel is. So obviously this area, after 3 days of this locomotive being parked here, is still very accessible.
The attack allegedly happened last night in an apartment in Saint Laurent. And Kevin, the little girl suffered some pretty serious injuries to her upper body.
Well, Mitsumi, police say that this 11-year-old girl remains in hospital today. She suffered injuries to her head, neck, and shoulders. Now, the alleged assault took place last night in an apartment in Saint Laurent, and during this assault, the girl apparently lost consciousness and then came to in an alleyway near the apartment. She quickly went to a friend's house, phoned police, gave a description of her assailant, and police found the 41-year-old suspect just blocks away from the apartment. Now, apparently, according to police, the girl and the suspect know each other, and there could be, as police say, a family connection.
The victim and the suspect knows each other. They know each other. So actually, it's the enlarged family. So the victim gave enough information so we can arrest the suspect.
Now, to get into specifics, Montreal police say they can't at this time to really understand what the exact family connection of the victim and the suspect are. Now, the 41-year-old man is being questioned currently by Montreal police investigators about the incident, trying to get to the bottom of what happened. Apparently, this man is due to appear in court tomorrow. Now, the charges aren't clear as of yet because the investigation is ongoing. Mitsumi.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. And that's Kevin Gallagher at police headquarters.
Firefighters now have the blaze under control, but power has been cut to several homes in the area. Kevin Gallagher is in Trois-Rivières tonight. And Kevin, have there been any reports of injuries?
Actually, Paul, up until this point, there's been no reports of any injuries or fatalities. Now, this motel was the type of motel that had short-term and long-term stays. They've been trying to find out all day if there was anyone staying in any of the rooms. Up until this point, investigators have just told me that the phone calls they've made to people who have been known to stay at this motel, none of them happened to be there so far. Investigators say they're about 99% sure that no one was there today when it exploded and subsequently caught on fire, but they say that they're still looking to make sure that everyone who they believe could have been inside the motel are not there. Now, the investigators say that they're not sure how this started or how the explosion came to be, but they have a pretty good idea about where it happened in the building.
It seems that in the north part of the building, there's many debris outside and on the road. So it could have been on this part of the building.
So again, we don't know the cause, but we do know that this motel was in the news last year.
Well, that's right, Paul. This motel was in the news last year as Motel Turco Bar, and there was a drug raid in March last year that was allegations of drug trafficking and prostitution ring inside a couple of rooms inside Motel Turco Bar. Now, it's changed its name to Motel La Havre, and I've been told that it's under the same ownership, but really I've asked if there's anything more to that, and investigators say that it's far too soon to tell if there's anything like that. So, Paul, for now, it's just a fire and an explosion.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Kevin Gallagher in Trois-Rivières.